Shall we?
Indeed.
Hello, everybody. I was experiencing some technical difficulties. That's for the reason for the late start. But I am here now, and we're live, and we could finally uh, present action theater with the Equalizer from 2014, starring no other than Denzel Washington, directed by Antone Figueroa, and starring many. Uh, anyway, we're here. We're ready to go live. We are live. Oops. With me, as always, deleted scenes. How are you, deleted scenes?
Fair to partly cloudy. How about yourself, Bill?
Sunny and warm.
Right on. We have been trying to bring the Equalizer to you for a couple of weeks. The
Yes,
first time,
yes.
um, there was an internet outage in Bill's area, and we couldn't
Yeah.
bring the show to you with the quality that we like to do it. And then, the next week, unfortunately, you know, Bill, you had a bit of a health issue and had to get checked out.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yes.
you know, one's health being more important. Um, Best to see to that first. And of course, because Bill has to be here, folks, because otherwise you're stuck with me for this thing. And
Yeah.
we know that can go sideways quickly. So, and besides, Bill knows how to properly run Cosme, and I'm a dunce cap at that sort of thing. So best to have everyone here. And of course, we do have someone here. Friend of both our channels, JPRPH1, still at work, but just leaving a thumbs up. Have a good one, guys. All right.
Good to see you, JPRH1. Well, dab nabbit. What? I'm trying to move the thing to where I can highlight the. Oh well, that's because that's on YouTube. Oopsies! I'm trying. Yeah, somewhere I
Are you
had
trying
the.
to highlight YouTube again?
There we are. I was trying to highlight YouTube. Yeah, we have
And
the link,
fade.
the screening room right there. That's the link you need to watch along with us. As us, as much as we would love to show you these movies here too, yeah, we can't because copyright is a thing, and then there's the YouTube guidelines and says we can't do that on YouTube. Anyway, we share. Hello, humans. Stayed. Good to see you. Anyway, if you want to follow us over there, we'll get this 2 hour 2 minute film underway. 12 minutes, sorry. Anyway, follow us over to the screening room and we'll start this thing. Shall we? All
Indeed.
right. Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. Oops.
Oh,
That's
okay.
yeah.
That's the ending.
Yeah,
Rewind.
hang on. Yeah.
Hang on, folks.
My bad. Sometimes they just skip around on you and they play it. And we have the Sony logo, Columbia Pictures.
All right, there we go. Sorry, folks, I had to refresh. I am back now. I'd like to remind everyone. We got some reading here. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. And this is the first change between this film and the series. The series takes place in New York. This film takes place in Boston. And this is where we find Robert McCall, as played here by Denzel Washington. Now, we do have a couple of people joining us here in the chat. Hello to CLS Studio. Well, if you have not seen the first Equalizer CLS, please join us in Cosme. The film has just started. We're only about a minute or two in. And hello to Wilkie's Movies and Music. Cosme link is at the top of the chat. Please join us there. Now, there are some who may be troubled by the changes between this film and the series. And yeah, there are some, and I'm going to be pointing those out as we go. But honestly, they don't really bother me all that much because the themes are still there. What the series came to represent can still be found here. And I'd like to think if McCall existed present day, I'd like to think this is where he would be. I'd also like to say hello to everyone joining us on Bill's Rumble page. I can't see you, but I know you're there. I hope you enjoy the show. Rome was not built in a day, Ralphie. And he began to see how meticulous McCall is. And this is a difference between series McCall and film McCall. is in this particular iteration, it's very clear he has some form of OC. He has a routine, and that routine is going to be interrupted.
Which series were you referring to? The old one
Oh,
from the
the
80s,
Equalizer. Yes. Yeah.
or
Whenever I
the
speak,
new one?
yeah. Whenever I speak of the series, I am talking about, as far as I'm concerned, the only Equalizer series that exists, which is the 1980 series that ran on
Yeah.
CBS with Edward Woodward. The current one with Queen Latifah, which has been on for 5 seasons now for
Wow.
some ungodly reasons. I didn't even make it through the pilot.
I see. That's one
I never bothered with that series.
That's one I know of that exists, but I've never actually. I was like, when they brought the Equalizer back to the TV as a TV show, I'm like, Queen Latifah as the Equalizer. I just don't see it.
No.
It's like that's like a no can do for me, you know.
Yeah, and we already had an Equalizer remake. It was called Person of Interest.
Here you have the young actress Chloe Moretz.
Mm-hmm.
This film series is a trilogy, and it runs from 2014 to, I believe the last one was in what, 2022 or 2021?
Last year, 2023.
Last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of
All
course,
pretty.
obviously, I highly recommend all 3 films.
Yeah. We'll probably get to them eventually. The other two after we have today's.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you there. You were saying.
No, that's fine. I said we'll probably get to them, the other two, eventually here at the Action Theater.
Okay, so you got the 2 guys that he works with here, who are kind of the Beavis and Butthead of the movie.
Yeah.
Who are trying to figure out because Robert's kind of a secretive, keep to himself guy for the most part. And this is another movie that has a great soundtrack.
Yeah. And welcome, Connie Clearly. Welcome.
Oh, no worries, Connie. No worries. Um,
Yeah, we're just barely underway.
yeah, we're like about 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes in. So, yeah.
11:25.
Now, I'll go a little bit into the local police blotter. There was a time um, where let's just say there was a group of Russians who tried to kind of corner the more illegal drugs, prostitution, um, basically hanging around the docks and making a general nuisance of themselves. And they were very much like this first group of guys that we're going to see, the ground level guys that we see here in this movie. So this movie kind of got some of the gangster shit right. You know?
I'd be asking, well, how much does a tire weigh? That's one of the big tractor tires. They weigh a lot. A
They
lot
do.
of steel in them.
And of course, this is something that's going to come into play later. That scene.
I think did they just show the bridge that got hit? I think they did.
I think it is actually, yeah.
Yeah, this film predates that event. That bridge was a staple, and it's kind of tragic what happened there.
Well, if there is any good news in that situation was the fact that they were able to so quickly evacuate that bridge and not lose any more people than they did.
Yeah,
You know, and the people who they did lose stayed behind to make sure that everyone was off the bridge. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. And the fact that um, the captain of the boat was able to call in the Mayday when he did
yeah.
was another factor. Yeah. Hello, I am Bob. Where are you from? I am from the Lower East Side. I get a lot of those kind of calls. that's when I start screening my phone calls, because my phone would be ringing off the hook.
Oh, there's. I think everything's outsourced to those type of call centers.
You know, and there's no like racial connotation connected to that. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I get a lot of these calls centered, or let's put it this way: I used to answer a lot of these calls that turn out to be from call centers.
Yeah.
Every time. Every time, somebody from India. This is another divergence from the series. McCall in the series was divorced, and of course, he had a son named Scott, who was played by William Zabka, of course, who's Johnny Lawrence, Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. And here the wife is deceased, and there's no son. So Scott is not in the films. Or do they? Of course, anybody who's a fan of Justified, you might recognize the actor playing Slavi. Yeah, of course, the guy who's his henchman here, you might recognize him as well. He was one of the villains in Act of Valor, and was a recurring bad guy in NCIS. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, not only are we going to treat this girl like she's a piece of crap, she's a second-rate piece of crap. Like, wow. They really do stack the deck against the villains in this movie pretty easily. Make you hate them right away. This is not one of those movies where Oh, the villains are misunderstood. No,
No, they totally
they
vilified the
they are.
villains.
Yeah.
There's the bridge.
Mhm.
What was the name of that? What's the name of that bridge? I always forget the name.
Oh, I should know.
Is it Scott Key something Bridge?
Something like that. Key Bridge, yeah. And the other girl here, the one who looks like Jennifer Lawrence, is Haley Bennett, and you might recall her from The Magnificent Seven. Uh, Also with Denzel, that was a couple of years after this, and of course also the same director, Antoine Fuqua. Okay, off topic. To the women who may be in the audience, how do you walk on those kind of shoes?
Hopefully, like they own them.
And he says, I don't use them. Yeah. It's kind of fun seeing this guy go from doing like this Kentucky accent in Justified, and then playing a Russian here. And hello to Big Al Presents. And hello also, Dead Man Walking.
Hello, dead man.
I'd like to remind everyone that the Cosme link is of the chat. We are 29 minutes and 20 seconds in.
Yep. It was the Frank Scott Key Revenge that got hit by the container ship.
Okay, first off, ick.
This is a great screen.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right under the chin. You understand
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I speak Russian, motherfucker. You know? Timber. Mm.
It wasn't quite 17 seconds, but
Few.
28
19.
seconds
Yeah.
is.
A few.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cutting out all the whining. Yeah. 19. Yeah. Funky floor. Honey.
I'm the guy who counts.
Yeah. Home Mart. Totally not Home Depot. Not Home Depot at all. On something stupid. Yeah. It's a good one too. Also true, he's not lying. Godzilla arrives in Boston.
The same actor I noticed in a film from the 90s. He played a cameraman for CSNBC in Deep Impact.
No. You're thinking of Doug Ray Scott.
Not the same guy?
Not the same
Pretty
guy.
sure.
Kind of similar look,
No.
though, but no,
No.
different guy.
I could have sworn it was the same guy.
Yeah. Mhm. Now, one of the things that used to happen quite a lot on the Equalizer series was, aside from the main storyline, there would always be like a B story. You know, some subplot, something else he would have to deal with while the main action is going on. And of course, dealing with the Russians is the main story, and Ralphie's the B story. But the thing is, here, they're going to kind of connect in some interesting ways. Basically, he just said you're Whitey Bulger.
Can we say psycho?
And continuing the tradition of every movie that takes place in Boston must have at least one Wahlberg in it. Here we go. But we have Robert Wahlberg, who is also in The Departed. Oh, I don't doubt it. They throw him over. Tim Robbins will be under there. Oh, whoops. Hmm.
A boo-hoo-hoo. Crooked cop.
And Ralphie's back at work. I'd start singing Mandy, but I don't remember the words.
At this point, she pretty much fears that something
Yeah.
bad's coming.
Well, that's the idea, isn't it? If you see
Yeah.
this guy, you're pretty much done. And she knows that. moving up in the world.
Hey, Mara Kitty.
And hello, Mara.
8675309. Oh.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That number's been long discontinued.
Oh, I'm sure it has. Well, security, so far so good. This Into the Badlands prequel is weird. Hardly. Now, here's where you're going to get an interesting bit of editing because it looks like they're closing in on him here. But what is interesting how this plays out. Yes. Don't touch them, please. course, here's a character that is changed quite a bit between the series and the film. Um, where they basically gender swapped control, but again, not really minding. Just decent actors. Bullvive, no, how could you? Let's get the tiger out of the cage. Well, you were. Haven't been for quite some time. Yep. Not the way you want him to, but there you go. Whoops. Oh, I did this badge. Maybe once. Forget counting it, man. Shit, pass it out. Do something good with it. So I'm not taking his calls anymore. Hmm. and that quickly. Whoops. And another one bites the dust. Mm. Yeah. One of the best walk away from an explosion scenes ever. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure all of Boston is probably smelling the burning gasoline. Yeah, tanker blew up. No big deal. Go about your business. It's going to be a hell of a night at the Home Depot, boys. Uh-oh. Which way did he go? And now even Ralphie's going, who is this guy? Buckle up, kids. It's time to turn it up to 11. Zach Hemsey in the house. Vengeance. Timestamp is 1 hour, 46 minutes. I die alone. Let me have vengeance before I die alone. I will have vengeance. So you've rescued the hostages, and Ralphie's going to stay behind. Anyway, this is the part where we start to see the Michael Myers stop the McCall. The part of him that he promised his wife he wouldn't be anymore. Oh, some more self surgery. Whoops! Red light. This is not a drill. Oh, wait. Tate Fletcher is a actor and stuntman. You might also recognize him from the first John Wick and The Accountant. Ah, cheese grater time. As you see, Ralphie comes back for McCall, where we get the punchline to the earlier scene. And Teddy gets a shot on him too, so now he's also wounded. Is trying to catch him in the crossfire here. And hello to Cody Guy. Sorry, I didn't see you. I didn't see you join us. We are watching the Equalizer. We're at the 155.30. The big showdown final fight scene. And you've just become a human hot pocket. Yeah, it's been locked off, and Teddy's got the drop on Ralphie. Oh, there we go. Nikolai Yachenko, no more. Moscow. 3 days later. Vladimir Pushkin still lives. This is unacceptable. That had to hurt. Was carnage and mayhem in his wake. Of course, here's Alina, back from the dead, so to speak. Yeah, and financed by your old boss. So think of it that way. I mean, he didn't need it anymore. And of course, here's Moby's version of Joy Division's New Dawn Fades. Change the scene, change the style, change the flow with no regrets. Of course, he's on to his next book. And of course, the article in the that he would leave in the newspaper in the original series. And now he's going to go out and be the Equalizer in earnest. In Eminem with Guts Over Fear. And that was the Equalizer. Oh, he must drop. Yeah, he must fall. Monday, Genghis Khan. All right. Well, chat, I hope that you enjoyed the film. And I think we're going to be doing the other two here sometime in the near future, I would think. So stay tuned. I do want to take a moment to say hello to everyone who joined us in the chat and on Cosme. JPRPH1. Hello, humans, aka Thade, because there must be one cephalopod in every chat. CLS Studio. Wilkie's Movies and Music. Faithful Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary. Fluff Chick Productions is her second channel. The host of Films with Friends. The creator of the 10-word review, Big Al Presents. I am going to be joining Big Al Friday of next week, the 10th, for the movie The 13th Warrior, starring Antonio Banderas, Omar Sharif, and the actor who we just saw in the movie just now playing the villain, Pushkin, Vladimir Kulik, playing a character that's kind of based on Beowulf. So join us for that. Dadman Walking was with us earlier, as well as Mara Kitty. And Cody Guy joined us in Cosme. Bill was watching along with us, folks, but I think he's having some audio issues. But no worries. We are going to do the segment where I consult the scrolls. And by scrolls, of course, I mean IMDb Pro, where you can also find me because I have a page with a couple of credits on it. So feel free to stop by. All right. The Equalizer was released September 26th, 2014.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Ah, yes. Bill, yes, I can hear you now.
Well, okay, that was weird. For some reason, in StreamYard, I had bad reception, and that was affecting my audio.
Hmm.
I left and came back, so I was actually talking a lot, but I guess you couldn't hear me. Oh.
I could not, no.
All right, let's consult the scroll.
Well, before we do that, Bill, since we do have your audio back on now,
Mhm.
Your thoughts, your observations on the first Equalizer.
Oh, Equalizer is one of the better action films in trilogy. I give it about an 8 out of 10.
Well, like I was stating earlier, the movie does diverge in certain ways from
Yeah,
the
the
original
old,
series.
yeah.
The switch from New York to Boston, um, you know, there are different changes here and there. Like I said, he doesn't have a son in this version. The wife is dead. They're not divorced as in this series. Of course, you've race swapped McCall, but who cares because you got Denzel. They gender flipped Control, but who cares because they got Melissa Leo, and Bill Pullman is there as well. Like I said, personally, and of course, jump in with your observations, Bill. I
Mhm.
don't think that any of that really matters because what made the show work and the themes that the series had, the sense of justice that McCall has, they carry over from the series into the films, I think.
Well,
And yeah,
he became what he was telling Elenia. He's a knight in a world where knights don't exist, and he
exactly.
kind
Yeah.
of is that person who we were speaking of.
Hmm.
Am I wrong?
No, I completely agree. Yeah. We've got to go back and do a Jedi Bill edition of this show so we get to hear what we missed out on. Live broadcast, folks. It happens sometimes. Was there anything else that you wanted to
just that
delve
next week we're
into
going to have
before?
another
Yeah.
glorious film by Quentin Tarantino with them Inglorious Bastards. Will be next Thursday, same time, same channel.
Indeed. Something special that we're going to be doing for Action Theater.
All month of May, call to arms and the military and military personnel. Celebrating Memorial Day all month long.
Yes. A salute to our troops.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to be, let me get back really quickly to the trivia. Of course, the release date for the Equalizer was September 26, 2014. At a estimated budget of $55 million, grossing $192 million worldwide altogether. All right. The Equalizer was nominated for a Best Thriller Film Saturn Award at the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. And Chloe Grace Moretz was nominated for Best Performance as a Younger Actor. Denzel Washington was nominated Best Motion Picture Actor at the Black Reel Awards. There were 3 Golden Trailer Award nominations: Best Music TV Spot, Best Action, and Best Action TV Spot. There were 3 Image Award nominations, for which Antoine Fuqua won for Best Director. Denzel was nominated for Best Actor, and Richard Wank was nominated for Screenplay. And the film was nominated at the People's Choice Awards for Favorite Thriller Movie. All right. There were 13 filming locations. Haverhill, Massachusetts, South Hamilton, the Crane Estate in Castle Hill, which doubled for a Pushkin's Moscow mansion, Beacon Hill, Salisbury, Chelsea, the Four Rivers Shipyard in Quincy, the Ryan Playground, Alford Street in Boston, 1470 Meridian Street, East Boston, 330 Mount Auburn Street in Cambridge, 40 Falcon Street, Boston, and Maya's Burritos, 136 Broadway, Chelsea, Massachusetts, which doubled as Ralphie's mother's restaurant. So it was all on location in Massachusetts shooting. All right. Get on to a little bit of trivia real quick, which, of course, as we both mentioned at the beginning of the show, was based on the classic television series The Equalizer, starring Edward Woodward. The film languished in development hell for several years before it finally started production. It was originally developed by the Weinstein brothers in 2005.
There
They
you
brought
go.
in, that's probably where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
They brought in novelists Michael Connolly and Terrell Lee to write the first script, with Paul McGuigan set to direct. With no progress in 2010, the rights were then sold to Mace Neufeld and Escape Artists. Paul Haggis was brought in to write another draft with Russell Crowe in mind to play Robert McCall. However, other project commitments resulted in both men dropping out before Denzel Washington saw the script and expressed interest. Nicholas Winding Refn was then set to direct, but left the project 1 month later when he could not agree to contractual terms with the producers on his deal. Rupert Wyatt was the next person approached, but he declined, citing scheduling problems. He also turned down directing Dawn of the Planet of the Apes for the same reason, before they finally offered it to Antoine Fuqua. The script originally had no backstory about Robert, so Denzel Washington contributed much to the character's background and backstory, including McCall having obsessive-compulsive disorder. In addition to his daily physical and fight training before filming, Washington met and interviewed several real-life OCD sufferers in order to gain insights on how to play that disorder correctly. Gerard Butler was once considered to play McCall.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Terry was originally written for an older actress, but Chloe Grace Moretz impressed director Antoine Fuqua so much he made the role younger. She was 17 years old at the time the film was released.
Wow.
She fought for the role of Terry. When she found out it was written for someone of 24, she presented herself so well that Antoine Fuqua immediately made a change. Slavi refers to Robert as Dedushka when they meet at the restaurant. This is Russian for grandfather. At the beginning in Robert's home, when the bookcase is shown, there are leather-bound books. These appear to be from the Franklin Library, Franklin Mint, offered as a set in the 1980s. The screenplay was featured in the 2012 Blacklist, a list of the most liked unmade scripts of the year. And if you catch Script Doctor's show on a Saturday night, the scripts that he chooses for that show are from the Blacklist. And there are websites you can go where you can read those scripts if you so wish to choose so. Find some hidden gems in there. And you get to see which ones got made, too, because some of them have. The film's test screenings received the highest scores and most positive reactions of any MPAA R-rated Sony film. The closing credits font is the same used in the television show. Denzel Washington suggested director Antoine Fuqua for the movie. Denzel was so impressed by his preparation, especially to the character's mindset during each scene, that he told the director to play the lead role instead of him. And of course, The Equalizer went on to become the first trilogy in Denzel / film series in Denzel Washington's filmography. Denzel admitted in an interview that he was initially reluctant to commit himself to this movie because of the difficulty finding a director suited for the job. Although pleased that the end result was a box office hit, he made it no secret that he only made this movie due to contractual obligations. I think it's safe to say that he probably changed his mind since then. I mean, obviously, he's done 3 of them now, so. According to the director, during the research for the role of an underage escort, Chloe Grace Moretz interviewed real-life prostitutes. She met an escort who initially told her to gain weight because in that profession, in order to take care of different men, escorts have to have some flesh. Moretz, who was a minor at the time of filming, changed her diet and gained weight for the role. It's just more creepy the more you think about it. Chloe Grace Moretz had a Russian teacher as a dialogue coach for the movie. She helped her with little cheat sheets with the phonetics written out of how it should sound. When Slavy enters his office, he asks his right-hand man, Tevi, and I quote, "Tevi, you collect from that fuck Dmitri?" Tevi presents Slavy with a manila envelope full of cash and said, "Yes," he asked for forgiveness. I told him, "What am I, Jesus Christ?" Alex Vidoff, who played Tevi, played Jesus Christ in Jesus Comes to Town.
Wow.
I've not heard of that movie. The name Teddy is played by Martin Sokas is also a nickname for Edward. This is a nod to Edward Woodward, who starred in the original series. As the FBI team enters the warehouse filled with neat bales of money wrapped in plastic film, one of their officers exasperatedly asks his colleague, "Who could count such a huge amount?" Well, it would be possible to estimate the amount based on the bundle sizes. An actual count would be required for legal reasons. Sorry. Melissa Leo plays McCall's friend Susan Plummer, was a guest star in the original TV series. She's in the 3rd episode of season 1, entitled The Defector. In this movie, Robert McCall is completely bald. However, in the sequel Equalizer 2, he has short hair, and in Equalizer 3 is bald again, implying that he's not really bald, but that he shaves his head. Of course, they show him shaving his head in McCall's first scene in the movie. There is a reason McCall offers Slavy $9,800. Anything over a certain amount requires a CTR, a currency transaction report, which is required by federal law, which requires ID, occupation information, and other personal information. For a man trying to stay off the grid and maintain a low profile, McCall knows this and simply avoids having to file a CTR by only taking out $9,800. About 90 minutes into the movie, when Teddy is eating a fish dinner and McCall confronts him, Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto is the classical music playing in the background, appropriate for a Russian mafia operation. During the movie, McCall has been reading Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, which he finally finishes. At the end of the movie, he is reading Ralph Ellis's Invisible Man. The book is about a young black man who is oppressed and exploited by white society. McCall, however, fights anyone's oppression and exploitation, regardless of the victim's color or that of the oppressor. McCall's Craigslist posting entitled Odds Against You, Need Help, was the same slogan used in the original The Equalizer's classified ad. The last pull-away shot of the film is an homage to the scene by artist Edward Hopper's painting Nighthawks. Robert traps the corrupt detective masters in a Series 3 Jaguar XJ, the model of car that Robert McCall drove in the series. McCall is never actually shown shooting a firearm. At the restaurant, he twists a henchman's arm, forcing him to shoot his boss. Towards the end of the film, McCall uses the rifle for the scope and eventually uses a nail gun. Everyone else is neutralized by other creative means. The nail gun used in the final fight scene is referred to as a power nailer, or by its trademark name, Ramset Master Shot. It uses a .22 caliber charge to drive nails into steel or concrete on construction sites. Near the end, where McCall confronts Pushkin at his mansion in Moscow, the mansion is the same one that was used in Flowers in the Attic.
Huh.
Denzel's character hunts the Russian mafia in this movie, while in Training Day, his character is hunted by the Russian mafia, with, of course, Antoine Fuqua directing both movies. Now, the question, "Who are you?" is asked by Slavy, Teddy, and Pushkin during the course of the movie. But when Pushkin asks him the question, McCall replies, "Everyone wants to know." This is the only time McCall replies to that question when asked. The final scene of the film features the song New Dawn Fades by Moby, which was, of course, a cover of the Joy Division song. Was also used prominently in Heat. All right. I'll do this one last piece of trivia before we move on. When Robert and Terry discuss books at the diner, Robert mentions that he is attempting to make his way through the 100 books everybody should read list, because it was something his wife also attempted to do before she died. This list contains a book called Eugene Onegin by Alexander Pushkin. There's a character by the name of Pushkin, of course, who Robert later identifies as the head of the Snake, or the leader of the Russian operation Robert faces. Pushkin is the final target Robert needs to eliminate to complete his mission of equalization. And that is just some of the many trivia points you can find on IMDb Pro. Whew.
Okay, you need some oxygen.
Yes. And I wish I can get over this head cold so I'll be able to talk again. All right.
There you go, man. We do hope you'll join us for next week for Inglorious Bastard. Quentin Tarantino. Brad Pitt. And many others. Mm-hmm. Oh, and this Saturday we have the Dirty Dozen.
Yes.
Yes, we're doing an extra dose of action theater on Saturdays.
Yes. Extra dose. Yes. The Dirty Dozen, which will be this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course, join us this upcoming Sunday for Western Cinema Presents, as we watch Red Sun from 1971, starring Charles Bronson and Toshiro Mifune. Excuse me. And also, of course, join us Wednesday at 7 p.m. for episode 6 and 7 of Fallout.
Yeah. 2 hours of Fallout. A little over 2 hours. As we get closer to wrapping it up. But pretty much what I got. And then, of course, some karaoke on Saturday night as well. But as always, be excellent to each other and always party on. And we'll be seeing you on the next one. Deleted scenes. What you got?
All right. And as I always say, to once again thank each and every one of you for joining us, both here in the chat, on Cosme, and on Rumble, and of course on both Bill's channels and mine. And of course to everyone who watches the replay. And those of you who might have been lurking in the background, because there's always one or two, which is completely all right. You do not have to engage with the chat, just as long as you enjoy the show. Leave a like, share out the stream, and if you like what you see, please subscribe to both of our channels.
Indeed.
From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night, take care, stay strong, because this is how we win.
Evening, folks. Later.